But how we can aid that values through the robotic and mechanical combinations to operate in the aerial sheet bombardment in the remote in inaccessible areas. How we can replace the conventional plantation systems. That is, the target is like for that. So if we see I do not explain the policy priority because we all of know. So how we can intervene in those remote areas like I have showing in this area, like this area. So what we made is, of course, we know the barriers because the geographical conditions and the other factors are the major barriers. So how you can restore the eroded slope and a denuded slope, not the landslide and some other floodplain areas, some least forest cover area. So what we did is the aerial sheet bombardments by the drone. And for this, the robotic combination is important. So we cannot buy directly the seed sowing drone, at least. So we need to mobilize based on our local geography and the territory. So we were able to, in combination with the Institute of Engineering Pulchok campus and the Robotic Association Nepal and others of forest technicians who has been able to local customize. And it is the pilot initiation in Nepal. And it may be applicable, especially for the drought-prone areas. We need to consider the water management and the water yield regulation or moisture enrichment. So these are some of the approaches we applied. So for this, we need to follow some of these steps. Some biophysical analysis. What is the soil condition? Because if the rocky terrain, there is no soil depth, it should be very difficult for germination. Then we should cautiously analyze the biophysical analysis like soil depth, degraded area, and some erosion hotspot. Where is the priority? Maybe we all know that. And the drone customizations, we will show in the video later on detail. And we need to map the scale of applications at the watershed scale is the pilot level initiation. So as I mentioned, because drought is one of the very slow silent killer hazards. So we need to consider very cautiously. So water management is related. So not only the water management utilization is important, its recharge and yield management is important. So we need to think on that. So water walls, contour trenching are some of the prominent techniques we have been applied. Not only the springs water, we need to tap the rainwater also to increase the utilization as well as moisture content. So as you see, the plastic pond cannot recharge, but we have made some water holes. We can infiltrate the groundwater. So these are some of the intervention we manage. So let me explain the videos for 3-4 minutes. These are some of the context of this.
Nepal, a land of majestic hills and breathtaking mountains, has been facing the consequences of climate change in recent years. Extreme climate events like intense and untimely rainfall, drought, landslides have become increasingly common. As a result, we have witnessed an expansion of degraded and barren land and a decline in the functional integrity of mountain watersheds. Restoration of these watersheds has now become a matter of pressing importance. However, the geographical remoteness and inaccessibility have been the major barriers, particularly in the rugged topography. Responding to this challenge, the development of climate resilient livelihoods, CCRL, a joint initiative of UNDP and the Ministry of Forests and Environment, Government of Nepal, funded by the Global Environment Facility, piloted the drone-based sea bombardment. As a result, we've witnessed an expansion of degraded and barren land and a decline in the functional integrity of mountain watersheds. Restoration of these watersheds has now become a matter of pressing importance. However, the geographical Nepal, a land of majestic hills and breathtaking mountains, has been facing the consequences of climate change in recent years. Extreme climate events like intense and untimely rainfall, drought, landslides have become increasingly common. As a result, we have witnessed an expansion of degraded and barren land and a decline in the restoration of these watersheds has now become a matter of pressing importance. However, the geographical remoteness and inaccessibility have been the major barriers, particularly in the rugged topography. Responding to this challenge, the development of climate resilient livelihoods, (GCRL), a joint initiative of UNDP and the Ministry of Forests and Environment, Government of Nepal, funded by the Global Environment Facility, piloted the drone-based sea hole modeling to bring greenery back to the barren landscapes. The technology, developed in partnership with the Institute of Engineering, Cultural and Robotics Association of Nepal, has made reforestation possible in areas where it would have been either impossible or too risky or possible. The team of innovators identified the areas of mass movement, degraded land, less than 10% cover, and steep slopes.
In the lower Dutkoshi watershed, access to water is becoming increasingly difficult. With the VCRL project, we aim to introduce adaptive watershed management practices in 8 municipalities, benefiting over 150,000 people. One of the key objectives of the program is to rehabilitate and restore the barren landscape in the difficult terrain of Koton and Patola. Together, we've developed technology for high potentiality using drones. We are still at an early stage, but we are very excited about the potential of this technology. For us, this is a good example of the role UNDP can play to bring together governments at all levels and innovation ecosystem in Nepal. In this case, engineers working on robotics and digital solutions to solve complex development problems.
The approximate soil depth, species suitability, and other technical standards were identified through intensive field investigation and discussion with relevant officials, experts, and communities. Creating a machine capable of seed bombarding was no easy feat. It required the perfect combination of robotics and innovation. Young and talented robotics and geomatic engineers, along with a multidisciplinary team, initiated the customization of the drone using their own pioneer idea. The most challenging task encountered was to enable the machine system for continuous seed bombardment at desired sites at a desired quantity. With numerous iterations and field tests, the team successfully combined drones with a specialized system designed for seed bombing.
We made the perfect combinations of robotics and mechanical functions while we customized it. The treated and the nutrient-enriched seeds are expected to enable faster germination and reduce costs. It is the first initiation in Nepal and still behind the space of improvement.
Each seed was meticulously molded into a round shape with a mixture of mud, ensuring it would fit perfectly into the drone's funnel. Though labor-intensive, every handcrafted seed carried the hope of restoring Nepal's lush green forests. The team achieved success after facing several trials and errors. The seed bombarding took place in target locations of Okadunga and Kotang, two of the most climate-vulnerable districts of Nepal. The drone gracefully dropped seeds over large stretches of land, bringing newfound hope for reforestation. The use of drones found cheaper than the manual plantation, while also making the task safer, efficient, and targeted.
Nepal is facing serious impact due to the climate change as the SP is implementing diverse reforestation is one of the seeds as a trial initiative. After analyzing its demonstrative and effectiveness, expected to be useful for ecosystem restoration for its wider application.
Drone-based aerial sea bombardment technology is initiated through national scale customization and successfully executed in the remote mountain areas of Nepal. It is a pioneer scale practice, and we are continuously monitoring the condition of seed realization and its demonstrating results. We are expecting the wider application of this technology for mountains landscape restoration.
This experiment has demonstrated an immense potential to revolutionize the conservation initiative in rugged mountainous terrains of Nepal.
Thank you for introducing us from my son. Now next attempt of this presentation is the multi-layer plantations along the river bed. We can see the vast tract of lands over the riverine tracts, especially in the mid-hill to the region. So if you see these, we can make so many combination of agroforestry depending upon the objectives and the people's need. So what exactly in this area is done, we already manage this in 3 or 4 multiple layers, depending upon the top layer around the 6 feet, 3 feet, and on the ground levels under the ground. I cannot explain the values of this. Maybe we all know these things. So advantage is immediate advantage. We can see in the very short time this about the greenery promotion link can be linked to the disaster restoration, food security, multi-purpose, greening, leave no one behind, and a sustainable livelihood. Means most of the vulnerable communities are living around the territory of the riverbed. So we need to focus on that, and based on adaptive technology, we need to combine all those things. So if we see the potential of this riverine tract or riverbed farming systems, there is plenty of space. 50,000 hectares, still we have lands for land availability. And the water availability is not so big problem in this area. So we can have very easy access. Only seed, water, and the land is important, and the people is important to grow there. So all these factors can be seen, and we can see within the short period of time, we can see the comparison between before and after. We can convert the land very in the small scale intervention. So this pilot project was initiated in 4 province and local governments, including from diverse landscapes from eastern to western areas. So because of we need to represent the different ecological zone also. So if we see the values of this 90% marginalized community, because the community residing along the river corridor are always vulnerable and very poverty centric. So we need to focus on those community and the land. So if we see the detailed information, we can see through the video. And because due to time constraint for the panelists, I am sorry, little bit time was unmanaged. Sorry for that. And I would like to thanks for your interest and watching and the suggestion, and I am waiting because it was the new initiation, especially the landscape restoration. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
सबैजनालाई भनेर के उब्जन्छ त्यसमा ढुङ्गा छ बालु छ 20 महिनादेखि यो ट्याक्टर छोड्नेमा नै लाग्छ
प्लान्टेसन तलको चाहिँ यसको भूमिमा जस्तै लहरे बालीहरू दोस्रो लेयरमा चाहिँ खोर्सानी त्यसपछिको भिन्डीहरू भयो त्यसपछि यहाँ अल्प रोपन छ त्यसपछि वृक्षारोपण गरेको यो विभिन्न लेयरहरूलाई नै चाहिँ मल्टी लेयर भनिन्छ कसैले नपत्याएको थियो यहाँ यस्तो उब्जा हुन्छ भनेर हाम्रो 72 साल उमेर हो खाइ नखाइ हामी खेतमा पुग्छौँ यसो गरी काम गर्छु आफ्नो बाली पनि उब्जाउँछु अनि आँप पनि पाल्छु मूंगफली फर्सी सब उपजाती थी ये अपन खर्चा करी
मेरो पेट भरेका यही प्लटमा किन जाने खोलामा एकचोटि त मूंगफली बेच्दाखेरि एकचोटिमा 15,000 20,000 आउँछ एक प्लटमा
भर्मी कम्पोस्टलाई चाहिँ ब्ल्याक गोल्ड भन्छ संसारमा सबभन्दा बेस्ट कम्पोस्ट मोड हो भने भर्मी कम्पोस्ट जो हामी यो उत्पादन गरेका छौँ
Thank you, Dr. Paudel, for Thank you, Dr. Paudel, for setting the wonderful stage for the panel discussion and showing how Nepal is paving its path in technology interventions and leading the journey of local adaptation. Now, I would like to welcome, before the panel discussion, I would like to welcome Dr. Maheshwar Dhakal, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Forest and Environment, to deliver his remarks.
Thank you, Deepaji. Respected Secretary and all the distinguished delegates, much for organizing this important event here in COP28 and giving the opportunity to speak a few words. I would like to share my sincere thanks to UNDP and all the colleagues. I think the video itself and Dr. Hiram Paudel presentation itself speaks a lot. What does local adaptation means? For me, using this type of innovative technology to the mountainous country like Nepal is very impressive and important to reduce the transaction cost and increase the productivity of the local communities through agriculture-based climate change adaptations. As you know, the climate change policy of Nepal is clearly spelled out about the socio-economic condition and resilient society, and it has 7 objectives, and the first priority is agriculture and food security. What the government of Nepal expected from the policy. This project actually supported by JEF and UNDP is implemented together with local communities. You do not have choice, multiple choice. Nepal is a developing mountainous country, landlocked country. Adaptation is our priority. That's why we are giving our stress, our pressure on global goal adaptations. Even GST or financial part or in other parts of this COP28 negotiations, our focus is green growth strategy that makes the Nepalese people climate resilient, more prosperous. That's why my understanding and what I learned from this presentation as well, the project is doing very well in the right directions, and we do hope that the final results of the project will be very much useful for scale up of the activities either on site and out scaling and lesson learned from other Nepal. Even many countries can learn from this project results. Let's go to the green growth strategies that makes the farmers, whether it is individual level or community levels, that give some sort of income and generate some employment. That's the green growth strategy what project is expecting. At the same time, while using the innovative technology of its kinds, drone and other means, let's engage the young generations, because if you do not include the young generations and just buy the innovative technology from outside the countries and use the technology only some expert, it does not make very big sense. That's why let's give the message to the school students, college students and our youth that they can replicate and they can generate some other technologies. Thank you very much. Actually, it's a very impressive one and I really impressed. Thank you very much and keep continue our discussions, and I wish a very grand success of this pavilion and this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dhakal, for your wonderful remarks and highlighting how highlighting the Nepal's position in local adaptation and also highlighting the role of the youth, the young people, the children in technology development and transfer. Now, I would like to welcome. I would like to request Deepak Kesik, Program Analyst, Climate Change and Resilience of UNDP, to moderate the panel discussions. Come here, sir.
Thank you very much, respected Secretary here and the distinguished panelists. The stage has been already set here. Things have been already, we have videos and presentations. I directly invite our distinguished panelists here. Ganesh Paudel, who is the Joint Secretary as well as National Project Director for this particular project that we are working on, and then have seen some wonderful videos. And working in the Ministry of Forest and Environment as well as the forestry sector. And I would like to Kohil from UNDP, Senior Technical Advisor for Adaptation, and she has more than 18 years of experience working on the adaptation and leading a lot of negotiations meeting in COP28 as well. So also have some experience in the region that what should be the way forward. Similarly, we have from EME. He has wonderful experience on the drought as well as other climate change in this risk, where we will be hearing from him in the region, experience of the region. And we have Margaret Clavier, the person who speaks Nepali like Nepalese, but from France, and congratulations, Margaret, for being the winner of this equity initiative of UNDP that you got, and representing from the Nurbi region of Gorkha, which is Samagaon, far away, 3-4 days walking from the roadside. Okay, Clavier. So the things, just to make it a little short, we have seen the things, basically two interventions here. One is in the high hill area, which is far remote, where it is not possible to do the normal kind of plantation or deforestation and other things. And also we use some drought management related things. The questions would come around those areas from all the panelists to save the time. I want to go directly to our NPD sir, Ganesh sir. You think like we are in the middle of the project so far, and we have done pretty much some of the activities we have already seen, and results will take time, of course. So what do you see the opportunity to upscale from the side of the government, as well as what do you see the possibility?
Thank you, Deepak sir, respected secretary sir, and our distinguished participants in this hall. We already have seen the videos and presentations about what is going on for the locally led adaptation in the mountainous areas as well as in the Tarai region. Responding to you, basically there are a lot of opportunities. As we already know, there is a grave situation of land degradation due to accelerating rate due to climate change, and from these small scale interventions we can see a lot of opportunities for scaling up, because this small scale initiation actually leads to innovation. We do not hesitate for the innovation. We should try for the innovation which could be based in locally viable technologies, and that could be scaled up in the wider region, because that is the best solution to solve the problems in these local areas. Actually, the collaboration and cooperation with other NGOs, local governments and civil society organizations is our strength to scale up these types of interventions, and the increased capacity of both different types of government and NGOs to scale up this. Finally, the use of to further transfer and resource assessing and mobilizing resources for scaling up such types of intervention. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is what also discussed was using the innovations and also using the the knowledge of the youth. What is that part of innovation you see here?
Yeah, actually, while working in the background of this aerial seed bombardment, I was also amazed by the involvement of youth generation. Wow, what's the technology they on what outfit they are for the innovation, and I think their involvement is very first meaningful for us, and without their involvement we cannot able actually to perform this task, and I hope this trend will be increased and the more youth will be involved in this type of innovations.
Thank you very much. Basically, the Robotics Nepal's youth engineers have developed this whole system. That's what you are referring to. Giriraj, I will come to you. You have been working particularly in different area, and drought has been one of the key areas that IMI is working on, linking with water and all resources. And you have been experienced in the whole region. So how would you see this drought as a slow onset of disaster, and then how it can really taking its way and solutions you have encountered in the region that we can take it to our countries and in the region.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I'm audible. Yeah. First of all, thanks to UNDP and the government of Nepal for inviting International Water Management to highlight our experience sharing. I think like it was a very great presentation from the UNDP when it comes to local-led action, climate action, or what we call today's topic is about drought resilience program. International water management comes with a wide range of expertise when it comes to blending drought and water management expertise. But in many of the cases in tackling to drought, it's more of a silo-driven process. Right, you saw there is a good example of UNDP has promoted, one on the agriculture, other on the forestry. But increasingly these silo nature of multi-sectoral coordination is an important need of the hour. Like countries like Nepal is very unique because you have a multi-pronged challenges, whether you talk about rainfall deficit in the Tarai region, you have a lack of glacier runoff that comes to that, and also the landslides, deforestation, and all that. If you look at, it comes with the three strategic process. One is we need to have a robust monitoring and early warning information in place to look at what kind of a risk framework we should develop on a multi-sectoral process. Currently what we do is risk assessment we do more from the human point of view. We might need to look at more into the agriculture, water, disaster, energy, and other integrated approaches is very important. Secondly, drought is directly impacts the vulnerable population. So we also need to look at how do we come with a vulnerable and impact analysis in terms of what we need to do with a deficit of 20% of rainfall it's going to happen. What kind of communities are going to be affected? What kind of early action plans we have to develop in place? Many countries in South Asia do not have a dynamic digital contingency plans. Contingency plans are more on an extension level. But then these extensions never been utilized timely because the information produced by one agency may not be adapted by the extension agencies. So that is where the middle layer comes into the process. The third is the drought response planning, which is where you presented some of the examples already from the UNDP, but we could add more into water conservation practices, groundwater management improvement, providing supports to improving the drought resistant seeds. Knowing that this drought is not going to anyway go away, then you look at providing more access to drinking water, domestic use, risk insurance, providing more of a safety net, livelihood program, linking into employment program. There are diversity of programs we need to look at because drought cannot be just handled by one particular ministry alone. It should be a coordinated approach of a multi-sectoral, multi-level coordination. My other submission is also to look at the lack of governance. Governance is one of the biggest bottleneck in drought solving problems anywhere in the world, name it developed or developing countries. So we need to again look at governance from the point of not just talking about how the ministries have to work together. Governance should also look at the local climate financing measures. A lot of investments comes from a top-down approach. We need to make sure sizable funds are allocated for local-led adaptation. That's where the green infrastructure, like what you explained, the presentation of seed sowing, farmers becoming more diversification, all those elements in the not problem but without having a human-centric approach. Second is if the plans are timely not operationalized and you don't declare the drought as well. Drought declaration as a political measures as well. So all these things are well documented by government of Nepal, very well done, excellent work. But important is how do you come with the procedural process? How do you take out the human-driven decision making rather than SOPs that are more structured to make sure that these are commissioned in a timely manner rather than, whether I should take a permission to declare drought. There is a scientific nature of declaring the drought as well. Those are the aspects I would highlight.
Thank you very much, Dr. Giriraj. Now I come to Rohini. Dr. Giriraj just touch upon the local adaptation and adaptation, whole bunch of things that needs to be initiated by the community and is more sustained way. So we have NAP, National Adaptation Plan, $47.1 billion. Most of the things we need to find the finance. So could you please share your experience that how we can really get this to the community, having this NAP and NDC in plan already, and how do we get there in the local level, not only like the cost rate and NDC and only looking at the policy level kind of intervention rather not reaching to the government, local level. How do you see?
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I have to say I really loved the videos, especially because they have, it's quite clear that these are very intensive community-led engagement initiatives, and they're using new technologies. So this is, I think, this is a very important element for this National Adaptation Plan process, because I think based on the experience of UNDP, but also sister agencies, there are quite a few agencies working on national adaptation plans. I think the main issue is it should be seen as a living process. Once a national adaptation plan is drafted and submitted to the UNFCCC, I mean, actually that's like part of the work of formulation is done. But the most important thing is that the NAP is a kind of device for convening. And it should be seen as a living document, a living process. And some countries are using a kind of a knowledge platform, a kind of an open access knowledge platform, where the initiatives around adaptation, I mean, this is, clearly one of those initiatives, but there's several innovative experiences, and I think that they need to be always on this living platform, which is open to the public, transparent. It's also something which, can be referred, as a kind of a place where, these kind of innovations which need scale. See, the first thing is the innovation is very important, so that needs to be supported, but at least there needs to be some kind of a knowledge. And some countries have it. I know I know of Bhutan and Bangladesh that are actually developing these. It may also be the case in Nepal. So it's important so that these kinds of documented work in progress innovations are actually put out there. The second thing is that I think that the language of national adaptation plans, they are showing the priorities, but the language of financiers and investors is a little different. And some kind of a bridging work has to happen because the investors and financiers are speaking slightly different language. I think the most important thing is to be able to show the benefits of investment. And the benefit of adaptation investment may not be always a quantified economic return, which sometimes it can be. I mean, there's also that element, but also the benefits to the community. I mean, those can be quantified, and I think that the language of this discussion around NAPs has to change. So it cannot just be about showing the priorities, but actually showing these living examples and making sure we are speaking the language of the different investors and financiers. And I think the most important thing for us is that, I mean, for example, UNDP has signed these locally led adaptation principles, but it's important to work at both levels. I mean, the leadership of the government is so important, and that's very clear from Nepal. So there is kind of I would say, upstream discussion which happens at the COP. It happens in global forums. But equally important is the work with communities, and both have to happen side by side. And I think that is happening, but more of that has to happen. And I think maybe two more things to say is that there's a lot of discussion about transformation at the COP. I think two things are, innovations are often small scale, and they need, I think we can't talk about transformation without first really understanding the innovation. So both the discussion around innovation and supporting communities is very important. And that, I think, to understand scaling, it has to really be understood from the innovations. So the exchange opportunities for communities between districts, across even countries, these exchange opportunities should be created, and this NAP process can be used for that, even this NDC process. So I think we can use it as a kind of a opportunity to convene more partnerships. So I think Nepal is part of the Adaptation Accelerator initiative of the SG. This should also be seen as a way to convene more partnerships, because so much of rich work is happening at the country level, and there are lots of opportunities.
Thank you. I come to Margaret. As you are here, not only to see the COP, but also get the award, Equator Award. Referring to the award-winning initiatives that you have done in Samagaon area in Norbi, Gorkha, what was the practical solutions you really tried that made you a champion, and how that can be replicated, you see, in your whole entire experiences?
So, सबैजनालाई नमस्कार. मेरो नाम मार्गो हो. मेरो नेपाली नाम ज्योति लामा. It's up to you. You can address me either. I'm very happy, and thank you, Deepak, for giving us the floor, to giving Target Charity the floor. We have been working in the Gorkha region, the northern Gorkha region, at the bottom of Mount Manaslu, 8th highest mountain in the world, for 3 years now. As you might expect, this kind of area is, it takes 4 to 5 days walk. The climate is extremely harsh, and it's a high mountain, very food insecure in area and village. We're 13 borders from the Tibetan-Chinese border. So it's a very remote traditional village, and food security was a big issue, and still is when we arrived, which we wanted to address first and foremost, but in a holistic way, in a community-rooted way. We are from, I'm practically from the community, and my colleagues are definitely from this community, and also in a way which does not import from outside, but which is actually promotes resilience in a type of self-sustaining way. So what we did, we tailored a pilot project. We started small to the community by creating 15 passive solar greenhouses, which are stone wall, double layer of polycarbonate greenhouses, to grow, because basically it takes 3 to 4 days of mule transportation to bring any kind of tarkari, any kind of vegetable. The basic crops are potato, barley, grow 3 months a year, that's it. So the greenhouse project brought solar passive technology and helped the local villagers, which we selected according to the most vulnerable of the population, 15 most vulnerable women-led household, and enabled these women and these families to grow parsi, golbera, kakro, I mean all the vegetables in the book. And that we feel and we saw, it really brought a daily improvement to the daily life. Then, as I said, holistic way of working, we don't only target one sector, but within this project, of course, food and nutrition security was our one aim, but then women empowerment was another aim, and income generation was a third aim. So obviously, the income generation part was, of course, people came, there's a lot of people trekking up and down to Manaslu. People could sell these vegetables either to mountaineering guides. The second part of the project is a biodiversity positive value chain. There's a local rose hip, it's fruit of a rose, which is growing in the village. And that we, again, as a pilot, help women pick sun-dry, and we partnered with a Canadian luxury tea company called Tea Leaves. They're in Vancouver. And we send these dry rose hips to the tea leaves, who'd made a luxury tea. And 100% of the profit of this tea go to the local women, the second year to the whole community as the project was successful. So that was a way, basically, nutrition and food security, women and community empowerment, and income generation. And it really created, we had around per beneficiary $207 per beneficiary, which was for a few days of work. So that was a real plus. And what we believe is, yeah, this kind of holistic approach in different sectors with community and local-based. The greenhouse was built with local stones, local dunga, as much as possible, making the community self-reliant. The last thing we want to emphasize, I think we were looking, what can you do or can we do to support local community-based initiatives like ours, is come and see, come and visit us. There's also a helicopter, which is very expensive, but if you can also walk or take the helicopter. But please come and visit us, come and see the context, and kind of touch and feel the local community we are working at, so that you slowly understand the realities on the ground, and that slowly we can get the message of the high mountain remote communities needs out there. Thank you.
Yes, now I will come to the floor for 3 questions, short, no any background, direct to the question to any of our panelists. Just one point on Margot. Tergar charity has been led by Rinpoche of the area and has been working since very long, even in the COVID time as well. They have been working. So this has been a kind of example in the remotest area, even in Nepal, how they can really be a part of the solution in that area. So any questions? I come back to the floor.
Thanks for the hello, can you hear me? Yeah, thanks for the presentation. Actually, I feel lucky to work on a story on the Manaslu's Goji Berry. Kamalji had asked me to do that story, and I'm just thinking about whether we can adopt the same modality in the mountainous region from where the people can be benefited doing the things like the goji berry, because it's by my understanding only the Tibet exports those berry to the US and Canada. Is there any possibility that Nepal can also expand this sort of business in other part of mountain region?
Please keep the question now, and I'll take 2 more, and then we'll come back to you. Any of you want to have your question? Any of the panels? Okay, you got the question.
Thank you for this interesting question. So we actually found out it's, we call the local language, we call gopchi. It's actually a rose hip and not a goji as the typical goji which goes in China. However, it is a superfood. It's an antioxidant rich food, which makes it quite commercially interesting. What we believe, we have gopchi in the village. We know it's used by Tibetan doctors and that it has medicinal properties and is a good market, has a good market power. There are some other, we know in Dolpa, there is gopchi. We know in also other places, maybe like Jumla. The interesting thing, we are trying to develop not only gopchi, but other value chains as well. We're working on a Jimbu project right now, wild garlic. We're working also on a medicinal herbs project. Manaslu Conservation Area is like an open-air pharmacy, so you have a lot of medicinal herbs. But any kind of high cash crop, we hope that we can be kind of a model for gopchi, for others, that the export from Nepal of this high cash crop can bring really directly income to the local communities. So this is our real hope, absolutely.
Thank you. Now I give each the panel like less than 1 minute, but would like to have one common question. What you think should be doing in like 1, 2, 3 that is applicable for our type of context in your own expertise area? I start from again Margot, or I come back to you later.
Yeah. I would say that in the past years we always try to do solution for communities. We need to change the narrative now. We have to do the solution with the communities, whether it is drought, whether it is on flood, like the example presented by our colleague here, And then we also need to improve our multi-level climate adaptation governance. That is very need to be addressed from the point of tackling the drought issues. And in places where we are finding, this year we had issues of unseasonal rainfall that led to a widespread drought in the southern part of Terai. So what it also looks at it, the severity levels and the thresholds we have to come up, that will really help the policymakers, the extension to make timely early action. Most of the droughts are very reactive approach. So we need to becoming more and more proactive and develop those solutions more collectively with the communities itself, and making sure that the investments, whatever we receive in the top level, that also has to be tailored to the local level.
The only one point I want to say finally is that we need to integrate both ecosystem-based adaptations and community-based adaptations. Unless and until we increase the resilience capacity of both ecosystems and communities, we cannot sustainably find the better results of climate change adaptation. Therefore, we need to integrate both EVA and CCA for better results of adaptation. Thank you.
Rohini?
Yeah, no, I think what I'll just say is that I think what we are seeing from this session, the empowerment of communities is extremely important, because especially in mountain and hill areas, it takes a long time to get to the communities. So I think that the investment in the long-term preparedness, should be one of the focus points of the NAP. And there should be specific things, including capacities, responsibilities, equipment, things like that. And those are the kind of discussions that should be had with investors and donors. And we can use the NAP as a convening platform to try and bring in more partnerships, and use forums like the COP and also the global NAP expos, the regional climate weeks, etc., to just convene more, I think, financiers and show them these innovations. So that's what I would suggest. Thank you.
So I'm going to have a quite self-centered of our community answer. I think giving help, fund, as Ms. G rightly pointed out, a platform to communities like us, but like all of the others who are working in the high mountains regions or the Terai. We are the guardians of the ecosystem. A lot of our knowledge, which is indigenous, has been to live together with nature, live in harmony with nature, and to adapt, to work on adaptation. Local communities not only need to be a part of the equation, they also need to be front and center. So having help, support, whether it's financial, whether it's technical, trickle down to communities like ours, and initiatives which are a lot of happening right now in Nepal, and the national context is so rich. We believe that's a big part of the solution. Thank you.
Thank you. So living with nature, work with the community, not only for the community, with integration of all the sectoral things, and making NAP as a convening process, going down to the communities. This is what our panelists has said in a nutshell. I would like to thank all the panelists for your wonderful ideas and opinion, and audience for listening them. I would like to request for Khada, all the panelists, also like to give it the microphone to.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepak sir, and thank you, the esteemed panelists, for your views, opinions and interventions. It will surely help us to shape our journey in local adaptation. And we are running out of time, so I would like to request for the concluding remarks with way forward, Mr. Navraj Purasaini, Joint Secretary of Ministry of Forest and Environment. And lastly, I will thank you all of you for your active participation in the event. Thank you.
Thank you, respected Secretary, panelists and delegates, and the participation. I am very happy to share, to actively participate all of you in this session. I'm thankful to the UNDP and your step for the pioneer successful in the high technology. This is the good for the Nepalese context. This is one conclusion. And another thing is, you prove that one misconception is clear, that high technology is not only for urban area, but also for the rural area and the community also. And we have still 4,500 square kilometer land to be restored. That's why the multi-layer plantation is essential. Through the high technology mechanism, we can manage, we can restore, and we can increase the participation of community in high technology. That is the good initiation, good concept for us. And another thing is, we have the policy, we have thought, we have energy. Technology is challenging, but financially it's so challenging. This is the conclusion of this panel. And the community is the center of the implementation for the local adaptation and to protect the land and restore the landscape. So that's why this is the important step for us. We learned so many things, and this is the new step, and I wish to for all the project and the Nepal government to secure the future of the community. And we will do with the with our policy, especially NAP and NDCIP. That's why I congratulate all the people who actively participate and to hear all our views, and and thankful to your presence.
All the audiences from the online platform who all are hearing us from their house, from their offices, and for the last moment, I would like to request our Secretary Keval Prasad Bhandari for the vote of thanks on behalf of Government of Nepal.
Thank you, wonderful panelist and most wonderful listener here. It's very interesting, the innovative climate change effort. And I personally request the NPD of the project to how we use this technology to restore the landscape, especially the Churi areas and all the things. Rest of the things which you share here is very important for Nepal's perspective. I thank you officially from the government of Nepal. Thank you.